West Side Story is a take on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, but set in 1950s New York City, where two clans clash. The Jets, the whites, and the Sharks, the Puerto Ricans, Latinos. A boy and a girl from opposing teams amid the tension fall in love. The film stars Rita Moreno as Anita, Natalie Wood as Maria, and George Chakiris as Bernardo. Anita is steadfast, protective, and proud. Her connection with Bernardo, the leader of the Sharks, gives her an air of confidence and assertiveness. She has that protection and association with the leader. She is not so naive and dreamy as Maria, but rather realistic. She is a mentor to Maria, trying to get some sense into the idealistic and rather dim Maria, who is so love-struck with a white boy who ultimately kills Anita's boyfriend, who is also actually Maria's older brother. He gets killed in a squabble between the white gang and the Puerto Rican gang. Maria doesn't show any remorse for her brother's murder by her boyfriend, but when he gets killed too, only then does she break down. Very strange. Rita Moreno's Anita is by far more likable and human than Natalie Wood's Maria. Her inner world and values are sensitive and compassionate, as opposed to the egotistical Maria, who is blinded by love and lust. Moreno brings grit and prowess in her dance, vocal, and acting performance, as well as authenticity, for she was the only true Puerto Rican in the main cast who too grew up in New York City as an immigrant. Despite the authentic portrayal, Rita's skin still had to be darkened along with most of the cast, and she had to do a Puerto Rican accent. For this remarkable and electric performance, Rita won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 1962. The musical won 10 overall Oscars and became the highest-grossing musical film of all time until 1965. To this day, the movie is considered one of the greatest musicals of all time. The fabulous dance sequences and colorful costumes, the timeless plot and themes of survival, love, racism, and community are celebrated to this day. With such talented names attached to the film, it is not a surprise that it is so iconic. I love Rita's acceptance speech, if you can call it that, when accepting her award. She really did not see the win coming. I also love that she re-wore her Oscar dress at the 2018 Oscar red carpet, 56 years later. She looked amazing both times. A black satin top with a puffed out bottom with a gold Baroque print. Very elegant. Rita Moreno's refusal to take on any role that was not coherent to her values and talents is really commendable. Despite her belief, in fact everyone who was a fan of her at that time, that she would have major film roles falling to her feet after her Oscar win was not true. In reality, Moreno did not hesitate to take lengthy breaks from show business in return for more quality work that did not pigeonhole her into playing the sassy, stereotypical Latina. She proves that it is better to make quality work and be choosy with what you take on, rather than taking on anything that comes your way. I guess that is a luxury when you reach a certain level of success, where you can pick. But early on in her career, during the 40s and 50s, when she was a young and up-and-coming starlet, Moreno, because of her heritage, which was deemed exotic by Hollywood standards, played a variety of roles, from Native American, Southeast Asian, and Pacific Islander, to name a few. After all, those were the categories she was considered for due to her looking ethnically ambiguous and non-white. And to get your foot in the door, despite one's integrities, one must work tirelessly and sometimes take on not so fulfilling roles. Yet Moreno went after what she loved, and as a triple threat, one that could dance, act, and sing, she really stood out. And by 1961, she found her big break, and deservedly so, with West Side Story. There were only a few rather prominent Latin women in film that were before Rita's time, and they were Dolores Del Rio, Maria Felix, and Lupe Velez, all of Mexican descent. Rita had nobody to truly idolize and take inspiration from, so she truthfully carved a reputation from scratch. And it really is harder when you are always othered and different, and also not raised seeing somebody that looks like you or is like you on the screen. It takes a lot of belief in yourself and willpower to persevere, which is why I am making this series solely on focusing on women of color who won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar. It is a good moment to highlight their achievements in film. Representation of minorities has come a long way in film and TV, but it is still a work in progress. Rita Moreno has always been outspoken about being proud of your heritage and equal rights, always stood in solidarity with people of color and women's rights. "I have a deep love for my people," Moreno said. "I love who we are and I love what we represent because we represent deep values. I love our food, I love our music. I am never unaware of the Latinness of all of that." End quote. The culmination of beautiful work in all facets of entertainment led Rita Moreno to becoming a member of the EGOT Club. She obviously won her Best Supporting Actress Oscar for West Side Story in 1962, her Grammy in 1972 for Best Children's Album in The Electric Company. She won her Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Play for The Ritz in 1975, and her 2 Emmys for The Muppet Show and The Rockford Files in 1977 and 1978, respectively. There are 8 overall women who have the status of being an EGOT winner. Rita Moreno, to this day, at 92 years old, is still relevant and in the spotlight. That is some high energy and zest for life she has. Perseverance is what kept her going all these years in the entertainment industry. She considers her role as Anita her most important role. She is proud to represent the positive and powerful depiction of Latina women, especially immigrant Latinas in America. She herself immigrated with her mother as a child and grew up in the Bronx. She was immersed in performance art from an early age. For her natural beauty, positive energy, resilience, and multi-talent, she persevered and now is considered a legend.
I was playing a young woman who respected herself, a young woman who had a sense of dignity. And she, curiously and perversely, Anita became my role model at a very late stage in my life, because I never had a role model. I mean, in my time, what was that?